My name is Ann Bergen. I am a former teacher, principal, and over the last several years I've spent many, many hours interviewing young people in recovery from substance misuse and many dealing with some pretty challenging mental health issues. So I know maybe one of the first things you're saying is, aren't you kind of old to be talking to us about college? Was it even invented then? Point well taken, but I do know a lot has changed, of course, since I was in college. Technology for one, and full disclosure, I do not know my browser from my elbow. But I know what hasn't changed, and that's the vulnerability of the souls and spirits of young people. And one thing, as you're arriving in college or beginning college, it's important for you to know leaving one's comfort zone is always anxiety-provoking. And you are leaving your comfort zone. You're leaving behind everything you knew, everything you were comfortable with. But facing new challenges is how we grow. But it's not always easy, and it's not supposed to be. And I know you probably think you're looking around and you're saying, hey, I'm the only one. Everybody else is doing great. I'm the only one feeling this way. Nope, not so. Let me tell you right now, there's a lot of mask wearing going along, a lot of covering up fear, everyone looking like they've got it all together. I do need to tell you, there's enough acting going around to win a lot of Academy Awards. But I do love this quote. You're breaking away from what was, creating space for what will be. But this talk, though, is addressed to those who are going through a little bit tougher time than the normal angst that comes with change. I did go to college, and I remember before going, listening to my high school commencement speeches, the promise of this exciting world that awaited me. So when I got to college, I got there and, oh boy, I was gut-wrenchingly homesick, frightened, completely and totally overwhelmed. And I remember saying, this isn't what I signed up for. And of course, get me out of here. I remember spending a lot of my time seeking a safe place to sob without anyone hearing me. But what had happened to me is that I brought a wounded soul to college along with my comforter and desk lamp. Some of you are arriving with souls that have been scarred from years of sexual abuse, physical abuse, extreme neglect. But then there are some, like me, who have arrived suffering less extreme trauma, but trauma nonetheless. Another word for trauma is wounding. My trauma came from what didn't happen for me. I came from a home where there was some mental health issues, one of my parents. There was little emotional warmth and connection. I was invisible in a very large family. My emotions weren't validated, and so, of course, I didn't express them. I was loved, I knew that. I had plenty of food and I was well dressed. I just never quite felt loved. Something was wrong with me. Of course, it had to have been my fault. My soul, like some of yours, was filled with guilt, shame, fear, and always a sense of, I'm just not enough. Those scars were taking up the space needed for attention and motivation and creativity and joy. I know as a former educator, we do a pretty good job of preparing kids academically and help you craft great resumes so you can get into college. It's just, unfortunately, we don't do enough to help you understand emotions, face them, and most importantly, triumph over them. I think our boys and young men suffer so much more than we realize. We have to attend to your inner lives, your inner selves. And so, the purpose of this, I just want to offer a few words that might help guide you a bit on this journey toward growth, resilience, and wisdom, and joy, of course. But at the very least, help you understand this rough patch and help you work through it. In this series of short talks over a few weeks, I'm going to offer 5 things I wish I knew and 5 things you can do right now in each of the talks. So here we go. 5 things I wish I knew. Number 1, I understood that all this pain and feelings of inadequacy that I was feeling weren't my fault. I had been a loving, trusting child just like you, but had my heart broken over and over again. I just wish I knew it wasn't my fault. There was nothing wrong with me. 2, I wish I knew that stuffing my body with food was my way of numbing pain and squashing painful emotions. It was separating me from myself. Some of you are dealing with pain by cutting, using substances, relying on excessive amounts of alcohol, hours of screen time, gaming, hours on porn sites. I just wish I knew that it was just providing temporary relief. It was only making things worse. 3, I wish I knew there were better and more productive ways to deal with fear, that anxiety could be put in its proper place, that I could do hard things. I wish I knew that it was a lifelong journey and that it wasn't going to happen overnight, that I wasn't going to wake up the next day and everything was going to be fine. And 4, this is really important. I wish that I could have treated my inner child with gentle compassion and kindness. I wish I could have been my own friend much more. And 5, this is really important. I wish I knew that there were so many people on campus who were there to help me, and that I should have reached out sooner to a counselor or a trusted professor. There was no shame, that it would have been an act of courage on my part. All right. Okay, 5 quick things you can do right now. I need you to say this quote today and maybe almost every single day until you're as old as I am, as which we all know is old as dirt. So plant this quote in your brain. Life isn't hard because you're doing it wrong. It's hard because you're doing it right. We thank Glennon Doyle for that quote. She is tremendous. Life's always going to present challenges and obstacles, but facing them bravely results in your gaining inner strength, wisdom, and resilience. 2, get a journal, create a journal. It doesn't have to be a leather-bound Bridget Jones diary thing. Staple some pieces of paper together, open a file on your computer or whatever you do on a computer to do that, and write just 2 things on the first page. I can do hard things, and it's not my fault. 3, now this sounds very corny, I know. Just write a short note to yourself. I will look out for you. I will take care of your wounded soul. You can count on me. And 4, resolve today to say no more unkind words to yourself. Enough of that. No more berating. No more calling yourself names, because no growth can happen without self-compassion. It is the source of all inner strength. And 5, know that the pain you are experiencing is temporary. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, be brave enough to seek help right away. You are worth it. So I'll conclude this particular talk by saying the high school commencement speeches are right. There is a wonderful world of excitement and adventure awaiting you. It's just, to get there, you need to take some small steps that take a bit of courage. It may take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And so I will leave with this quote for today. Until next time, we'll talk about how to get rid of that overwhelm feeling, that feeling of being overwhelmed. 5 more things you can do in that area. But today, I leave you with this quote. Courage doesn't always roar. It is the quiet voice at the end of the day that says, I will try again tomorrow. I'll see you next time.